The city's relentless hum fills Sarah's small apartment as she gazes at her cluttered desk littered with unanswered emails and to-do lists. The noise outside mirrors the chaos within her mind. With a determined sigh, she decides it's time for a break from the incessant demands of urban life.
Enough. Time to disconnect and find some peace.
She shuts down her laptop, feeling the weight of deadlines and responsibilities lifting with each closing window. Her decision to embark on a solo camping trip is a desperate attempt to escape the constant barrage of notifications and the never-ending race against time. On her balcony, Sarah takes a deep breath of city air, tainted with exhaust fumes. She closes her eyes, imagining the crisp scent of pine, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the freedom that only nature can offer.
I need a break from all of this.
Her apartment transforms into a staging ground for her escape. Maps spread across the coffee table, a backpack lies open on the floor, and camping gear is meticulously organized. Sarah's anticipation grows as she envisions herself surrounded by towering trees, far away from the constant buzz of technology.
No phones, no emails, just me and nature.
Her phone, once a source of both connection and stress, is turned off and placed at the bottom of her backpack. As she zips it closed, there's a sense of finality, a break from the digital tether that binds her to the outside world. The journey begins as she drives away from the city, leaving behind the skyscrapers and the chaos. The farther she drives, the more the landscape changes. Concrete jungles give way to vast expanses of greenery, and the horizon stretches out before her like a promise of tranquility.
This is it. A date with solitude.
The allure of the wilderness calls to her, and with each passing mile, the weight on her shoulders lightens. The city noise fades, replaced by the distant chirping of crickets and the wind rustling through the trees. At the trailhead, Sarah steps out of her car, inhaling deeply. The air is different here, a blend of earth, pine, and freedom. The trail extends before her, a path leading to the serenity she seeks.
Time to disconnect and find some peace.
Sarah discovers a secluded spot by a serene lake, its mirrored surface reflecting the lush greenery that surrounds it. She sets up her camp, a solitary tent against the backdrop of nature's grandeur. The rustling leaves and the distant calls of birds compose a symphony of solitude. As the sun dips below the horizon, Sarah kindles a campfire. Its warm glow illuminates the immediate vicinity, creating a sanctuary of light in the midst of the encroaching darkness. The isolation amplifies the symphony of night sounds, the chirping crickets, the mysterious hoots of owls, and the occasional rustle of nocturnal creatures. The forest embraces Sarah as she delves deeper into its heart. The sunlight, filtered through the thick canopy, creates a mosaic of shadows and light on the forest floor. The trail, more a suggestion than a defined path, winds through ancient trees, leading her away from the noise of civilization.
Here, in this solitude, I find a connection to something primal.
The campfire crackles, sending flickering tendrils of light into the surrounding darkness. Sarah sits on a log, enveloped by the warmth of the flames, but an unexpected chill seeps into the air. The woods, once alive with the rustle of leaves and the symphony of night creatures, fall into an eerie silence.
It's so quiet.
Sarah, feeling a strange compulsion, decides to explore the forest's edge. The unsettling stillness follows her, intensifying with each step into the shadowy undergrowth. The moonlight, filtered through the dense canopy, creates ethereal patterns on the forest floor.
What happened to the night sounds?
A distant howl pierces the stillness. It's not the melodic call of a lone wolf. It's a haunting wail that sends shivers down her spine. The sound lingers as if carried by the wind from the depths of the forest. Returning to the campfire, Sarah finds the flames have taken on an unnatural stillness. They flicker as if aware of an unseen presence, casting elongated shadows that seem to dance with a life of their own.
This isn't right.
The campfire, once a source of comfort, now feels like a fragile barrier between her and the unknown. The crackling, subdued by the spectral hush, adds to the unsettling atmosphere. Retreating to the sanctuary of her tent, Sarah zips it closed, shutting out the enigmatic quiet of the night. Inside, the walls seem to close in, and every rustle of leaves, every distant sound takes on a spectral quality.
Something isn't right. The night feels different.
As she lies in her sleeping bag, the howls persist, morphing into an eerie melody that seems to resonate with the very heart of the forest. The once welcoming solitude now carries a weight of uncertainty, and Sarah, under the canvas ceiling of her tent, confronts the mysterious night, its secrets whispering on the edges of her consciousness. Alone in her tent, Sarah is acutely aware of the haunting melody of the night outside. The walls of the tent, once a source of comfort, now seem thin and vulnerable. As she settles into her sleeping bag, the forest's eerie silence intensifies, broken only by the occasional hoot of an owl.
Don't be afraid. It's just the woods playing tricks.
A twig snaps outside, distinct and deliberate. Sarah's eyes widen and she holds her breath, listening to the rustle of leaves that follows. She dismisses it as a product of her overactive imagination, attributing the sound to the nocturnal activities of local wildlife.
It's probably just a raccoon or a deer.
Yet a lingering feeling of being watched gnaws at her. The symphony of the night has been disrupted, and a disconcerting stillness settles over the campsite. The shadows on the tent fabric seem to elongate, taking on unfamiliar shapes that dance in the dim glow of the moon. Despite her attempts to rationalize, Sarah can't shake the feeling that unseen eyes are fixed on her, observing from the depths of the impenetrable darkness beyond the thin barrier of her tent. With each passing moment, the sensation of being under scrutiny becomes more palpable, casting a spectral veil over the once inviting solitude. The moon hangs high in the ink-black sky, casting an eerie glow over the silent forest. Sarah's breath fogs the cool air inside her tent as she watches a shadow like a phantom drift over the thin fabric. The usual comfort of the night gives way to an unsettling tension.
Hello?
The word hangs in the air, unanswered. The forest, once alive with mysterious noises, now feels almost suffocatingly still, as if the very trees are holding their breath in anticipation. The footsteps draw closer, deliberate and haunting. Sarah's wide-eyed gaze remains fixed on the tent entrance, and she clutches the flashlight in her trembling hand, the cool metal offering a feeble reassurance. The darkness outside the tent seems to pulsate with an unknown energy.
Who's there?
Her plea echoes into the night, but the only response is the soft symphony of leaves rustling in the breeze. Fear tightens its grip, and every nerve in Sarah's body is on edge. The flashlight, now switched on, casts a feeble beam that dances nervously across the tent fabric. The approaching footsteps hesitate just beyond the tent's threshold, teasing the boundary between the known and the unseen. Sarah, wide-eyed and vulnerable, contemplates the chilling possibility that she is not alone in this remote corner of the wilderness. In the eerie quiet, her pulse becomes a steady drumbeat, drowning out the nocturnal sounds that once provided a soothing lullaby. The forest holds its breath, and Sarah, still whispering words of inquiry into the abyss, awaits a response that may unveil the nature of the unwelcome visitor outside her fragile haven. In the midst of the forest brooding silence, Sarah gathers the fragments of her courage. The haunting footsteps, once a source of dread, now kindle a spark of curiosity within her. With the flashlight illuminating her path, she ventures further into the woods, guided by the elusive sound. The trees, their branches intertwined like ancient guardians, cast elongated shadows that dance in eerie synchrony with a subtle breeze. The night seems to swallow the sounds of her own movements as she treads cautiously over her fallen leaves, each step a deliberate echo in the stillness.
Who's there?
Her voice, though hushed, resonates through the desolate forest. The footsteps persist, leading her deeper into the heart of the wilderness. The air thickens with suspense. and the glow of her flashlight reveals gnarled tree trunks and the tangled undergrowth, concealing secrets that only the night knows. As Sarah continues her journey into the unknown, the haunting sound begins to morph, a distant melody, a spectral hum carried by the wind. The once crisp footsteps blur into a rhythm. The once crisp footsteps blur into a rhythm that seems to emanate from the very heart of the woods.
What is this?
Following the phantom-like notes, she stumbles upon an unexpected discovery, a clearing revealing an ancient, dilapidated cabin. The wood, weathered by time, groans under the weight of its own history. The footsteps, now entwined with the haunting melody, draw her toward the decaying structure.
Who's there?
The footsteps, once her guiding beacon, vanish into the silence, leaving her standing alone in front of the mysterious cabin. The air is charged with an otherworldly energy as she contemplates the secrets concealed within its dilapidated walls, a witness to the passage of time and perhaps a keeper of the enigmatic forces that dwell within the heart of the Whispering Pines. The ancient cabin, standing as a relic in the moonlit clearing, beckons Sarah with a promise of untold secrets. As she steps over the creaking threshold, the air inside seems to ripple with an energy both ancient and restless. The feeble glow of her flashlight struggles to pierce the thick darkness within.
What is this place?
The cabin's interior, frozen in time, reveals fragments of its storied past. A worn-out table, moth-eaten curtains swaying in the ghostly breeze, and faded photographs that bear witness to a life long forgotten. Sarah's cautious footsteps echo through the desolate chambers. As she explores, a whispering wind, as if stirred by the breath of unseen entities, sweeps through the cabin. The ethereal voices, faint and melancholic, ride the currents of the ghostly wind.
What is happening here?
The whispers, like distant echoes of a forgotten tragedy, become more audible, telling tales of lives entwined with the very fabric of the Whispering Pines. Each syllable seems to reverberate through the cabin's hollowed halls, weaving a narrative of sorrow, longing, and the darkness that clings to the time-worn wood. The wind carries with it the essence of the past, a symphony of regret, lost dreams, and the lingering despair of those who once sought solace within these decaying walls. Sarah, captivated and unnerved, becomes an unwitting listener to a spectral tale that transcends time.
This place is haunted by more than just memories.
As she stands within the heart of the cabin, the whispers persist, creating an otherworldly connection between the living and the lingering spirits. The air, thick with the weight of untold stories, leaves Sarah entranced, caught between the realm of the living and the echoes of a tragic history that refuses to be forgotten. As Sarah sifts through the remnants of the cabin's past, her flashlight illuminates faded photographs and yellowed letters scattered across a dusty table. The artifacts tell a story, one of joy turned to sorrow, of a family ensnared by the very allure of the Whispering Pines. In the photographs, smiles frozen in time depict a family of 4 parents and 2 children, standing proudly against the backdrop of the cabin. The images speak of days filled with laughter and exploration, capturing a happiness that now feels like a distant echo.
What happened to you?
The letters, discovered beneath a layer of dust, unveil a chilling narrative. Each word, written with ink that has long since dried, reveals the family's descent into the heart of the wilderness, a journey that held the promise of adventure, but ultimately succumbed to the haunting call of the Whispering Pines. The passages recount days of exploration turning into nights of disorientation. The once inviting forest became an impenetrable maze, leading the family in circles. Fear seeps through the lines, and the desperation to escape the clutches of the wilderness is palpable.
Lost. They were lost here.
The final letter, its words etched with trembling desperation, speaks of shadows that seemed to move on their own, whispers that echoed through the night, and an unseen force that pulled them deeper into the forest's embrace. As Sarah absorbs the chilling revelation, the weight of the tragedy settles on her shoulders. The photographs and letters weave a narrative of a family consumed by the very wilderness they sought to conquer, a chilling history that lingers within the decaying walls of the cabin.
You never made it out, did you?
The revelation leaves her standing in a time-frozen cabin, a witness to the untold tale of those who vanished into the Whispering Pines, their fate now eternally entwined with the haunting echoes of the forest secrets. As Sarah steps out of the cabin, the night wraps around her like a heavy cloak. The moonlight filters through the dense canopy above, casting sporadic beams that paint the forest floor in a mosaic of light and shadow. The air is thick with an otherworldly energy, and a chilling breeze rustles through the whispering pine.
What secrets do you hold?
The once muted sounds of the forest now intensify. The nocturnal orchestra comes alive with unseen creatures. Night creatures hidden from the human eye add their eerie voices to the symphony. The rustle of leaves, the distant calls of creatures unknown, and the occasional crack of a branch create an auditory tapestry that resonates through the ancient trees. Sarah, standing amidst the shadows, feels the weight of the night's embrace. The solitude she sought has transformed into an unsettling communion with the unknown. The cabin behind her, a relic of tragedy, seems to exhale the echoes of its past, merging with the whispers of the forest. The moon, obscured at times by the interwoven branches, casts fleeting glimpses of the landscape in an ethereal glow. It reveals the intricate dance of shadows, conjuring illusions that play tricks on Sarah's senses. Every rustle, every murmur, seems to carry a story, the tale of a forest that conceals its mysteries with an enigmatic grace.
I fear for myself. I'm not alone.
The realization settles within her, an awareness that the Whispering Pines are not merely trees, but guardians of a history, written in the language of the night. Sarah, enveloped in the darkness and surrounded by the symphony of unseen life, contemplates the profound connection she has forged with a world both enchanting and eerie. As the night deepens, the forest becomes a realm where reality and the supernatural intertwine. Sarah, a lone witness in the tapestry of shadows, stands at the threshold of the unknown, a seeker of solitude forever changed by the haunting beauty and mysteries that unfold in the heart of the Whispering Pines. The first light of dawn filters through the Whispering Pines, casting a golden glow that gradually dispels the lingering shadows. Sarah emerges from the woods, her footsteps echoing in the hushed stillness of the early morning. Her eyes, haunted by the night's experiences, reflect the weight of the unseen tales that now cling to her like the morning dew on the leaves. The once inviting trailhead, now bathed in the soft hues of sunrise, feels like a gateway between two worlds, the familiar realm of everyday existence and the mysterious embrace of the Whispering Pines.
I've walked between the worlds.
The forest, now a backdrop to the fading night, seems to watch her departure with a quiet wisdom. The rustle of leaves carries a subtle farewell, as if the trees themselves acknowledge her, as a transient visitor who has glimpsed the secrets concealed within their ancient boughs. The trailhead, marked by the same sign that greeted her on her arrival, takes on a different significance. It's not just the end of a journey. It's a threshold that separates the known from the unknown, the mundane from the mystical.
What stories do you keep? Whispering Pines.
As Sarah steps beyond the trailhead, the forest's secrets echo in the recesses of her mind. The haunting wind, the unseen footsteps, the whispers of a tragic past, all merge into a tapestry of experiences that will forever color her perception of solitude and nature. The journey home is more than a physical return. It's a transition from a night of mystery to the reassuring light of day. As the trail leads her away from the heart of the Whispering Pines, Sarah carries with her the indelible marks of a night that blurred the lines between reality and the supernatural, a night where solitude became communion, and the forest whispered its enigmatic tales to an intrepid wanderer